play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next? He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold an obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep, move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep on this evening. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.
Okay, YouTube, what's up? I just wanted to share this because this is something that it's hard to explain, so I took the time to do it, and I'm going to share this with you. This was an online ad, the picture. I took this off an online ad for free stuff it was created on purpose in order to covertly harass me, right? This is done by strategically showing my own property to me in such a way that it lets me know that it's on purpose. Like, there's without a doubt, right? So one person suggests that I check out this new free stuff app, right? And then another person posts pictures of something unmistakable in an ad on the free stuff app, but without including any contact info or any way to actually obtain the property at all. So it's it's pointless. So I get reminded of the incident while reinforcing the idea that I'll never get justice or even find out who stole my property. See? It's making you relive the trauma, right? And then beating you down, breaking you down. It's like MK Ultra, right? Trauma-based mind control. They used this complex tactic against me by using my Graham's old leather recliner. Like, it doesn't have any actual value, monetary value. But my Graham had it for years. I could show you a picture of her sitting in it. I just looked at it today, actually. But they used my Graham's old leather recliner from my apartment that I considered my chair, that I sat in every day. It was just one of the many priceless pieces of personal property, priceless to me, that were stolen after the cops broke in unannounced, used a dangerous level of excessive force with guns drawn on me and my 12-year-old son, who is the one who recorded that, by the way, who is traumatized by that event to this day, then illegally detained me and then trespassed me from my own apartment and humiliated me in front of everybody. Everybody in the building was outside, like they were directed to go outside for this. They were practically eating popcorn, sitting there watching this. But then later on, they lied on sworn affidavits and filed several false police reports so they could then get a false felony warrant on me to spread to the news, all the major social media feeds. They did all this retaliatory malicious prosecution in an attempt to discredit me and obfuscate the truth about their own misconduct and avoid accountability for their criminal civil rights violations that they knowingly committed against me and my family. So that's a mouthful, but that is all. Like, I know that's you see the markings on it, right? There's that one mark on the left side where my Graham's head always was that's discolored. I don't know what made it what discolored it, but I got it that way from her. These are unmistakable markings on this leather recliner. And it showed up the day after I was told that they threw all my stuff out, that all my stuff was gone. I was told all my stuff was gone, right? That they got rid of it. They got a dumpster and they threw all my stuff away, right? And I wasn't even allowed on the property, okay? They did it on the weekend after the judge said that they have to give me an opportunity to get my stuff, right? So they waited until like a Friday and had the maintenance girl there. She started hauling stuff out and putting it in her car. I know somebody said they saw my Oric vacuum in the fucking dumpster, in one of these fucking drop-off dumpsters, right? And like this is stuff that's of value. I don't think they threw it away. I think they did it on purpose just to make me think that they threw away my stuff that's valuable to me that I could use, my stuff. It was all stuff like I have pictures of all this stuff that I took on my phone on my way out, like just from the last video that I have from my eviction. I took screenshots of all of the property that I could see in these screenshots, just everything that I could prove, like the stuff that was in there, so I could try to put some kind of value to it whenever I go to seek compensation for all this. But I had a double leather recliner couch that was like a $2,000 couch. I had a $1,200 coffee table sitting there. I had a book collection that was at least 30 or 40 books that were I bought and purchased every one of them. I have one book that was 300 and some dollars. It was a law book, right? It had a bunch of specific cases about education, schools, and certain case doctrine, and with when it comes to law cases about issues that happen in a school setting. Who won or what. Anyway, I had a double closet, right? This is like an 8 foot closet or bigger, full from head to toe of camping shit, packed to the brim of a bunch of camping shit. Sleeping bags, cook stuff, chairs. I mean, you name it, I had it. It's just I had all kinds of stuff. I had my son's entire bedroom. Right? I have a picture of that. All his clothes, his bed. I had a shop vac that I used for years, a 6.5 horsepower fucking shop vac. I bought $400 worth of painting supplies just to paint that apartment before I left it. That was all sitting there in a nice, neat pile right there. I paid for this out of my own pocket so that they wouldn't charge me for any damages. I was going to paint the apartment before I moved out. And they knew all this. That's why they hurried up and did all that. You know, they said that there was holes in the ceiling and shit. Bullshit. I dropped the light fixtures down and the smoke detectors down and sanded the ceiling because before I painted it. So everything was ready for paint. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. I'm a carpenter. It's what I do. They said that I had all the doors off the hinges. No, I had the closet doors off the hinges. Stacked nice and neat in the kitchen. With a bunch of my tools, as a matter of fact, in there. I had a kitchen full of dishes. I had I had $150 worth of coffee. With just Starbucks K-Cups. Dark roast coffee, brand new. I had a fridge full of good food and meat and everything else. I had a Keurig coffee maker there, right? I had, what else? I got my printer. Well, my son got my printer out of there, thankfully. My son got my grandfather's ashes, thankfully, and some of my Steeler memorabilia out of there. But there was my desk, an entertainment center, a kitchen table and chairs. I could keep going all day, like all the shit that they took. My daughter's bed, like the bunk beds, my daughter's beds, my son's bed. I think she got most of all of her clothes and stuff. Yeah, she did get most of her clothes and stuff out of there, anything she wanted. But I had like an extra microwave in the closet. I had an old iPod and iPhones, all my old iPhones and iPod in that microwave in the closet. That's where that iPhone 7 was that they sent me. It wasn't the one that I got from Amazon that they sent me. That's where it was. It was in that microwave. So they got that back. I think that's one of the reasons that they did that so hastily, because that phone proved, like the possession of that phone would have proved everything that I was talking about. Somebody, did the whole mail fraud thing and shit like that. But I had, let's see, what else did I have in there? It's just unreal, unreal all the shit that I had in there. Let me think, what else? Oh, a bunch of tools still, a whole bag full of DeWalt 20 volt brushless max, 20 volt max batteries and tools. I had the brand new fucking Sawzall 20 volt XP brushless Sawzall, the nice one, the 20 volt max one that turned and did all kinds of shit, brand new. hammer drill, the 20 volt brushless motor, 20 volt max XR hammer drill, um, two 5 amp hour batteries, and a couple. I think they were two 1.3 amp hour batteries for my impact. I got my impact, but my sawzall, my hammer drill, um, a brand new Tapcon tool with 2 boxes of Tapcons. They're $50 a piece. I had a whole bunch of brand new bits, every bit you could think of in this bag. All the um, cutoff wheels and shit you could think of. Sawzall blades, like they're expensive. That shit's expensive. All of this is in a DeWalt bag, right? Because I took that there to take apart my bunk beds and take all this shit apart, you know, to get it out of there. And they broke in like hastily. Like I was supposed to talk to the landlord that morning when they did this. That it was discussed, and the maintenance guy John on Sunday evening before he left, when he left me there in the apartment, and I advised him what I was going to do, and I tried to present him with the eviction moratorium paperwork, self certification. He wouldn't accept it. He didn't want no paperwork. He probably couldn't read it anyway. But I tried to give it to him because I told him this is your protection if for your job if she tries to do anything to you or get you in trouble for letting me in here. This piece of paper protects you. Okay, this piece of paper, it takes precedence over her telling you, you know, to not to, to violate my rights. So he left me there, and he said that he talked to Deb on the phone, and he said that I better go up and talk to her Tuesday morning when she comes into work. This was on a Sunday evening that this happened. So then I'm in there 2 days with my son. I'm there 2 days go by, or the neighbors know I'm there. The maintenance girl, she knew I was there. I talked to her outside for like half an hour one day. Like the next day on a Monday, I was walking my dog, and I talked to her outside. And it's just crazy. Like everybody knew I was there, and then she goes to the cops, and then has them come up and bust my door down unannounced. They never even said the police or anything. You know what I mean? The door wasn't even locked. Okay? So what were they shoulder blocking it for? Trying to get me to panic, right? They're shoulder blocking the door, and I'm like trying to answer it. Like, can I help you? Because they changed those locks a month earlier whenever they illegally evicted me, right? And locked me out. But I learned that what they did there was illegal. And I learned that I can stand my ground and present them with the eviction moratorium. Because I self-certified the day before that, and I have proof of that. I self-certified on June 23rd and applied for rental assistance program, the emergency rental assistance program. And I documented all that. It was the very next day they showed up and tried to just walk in. I have it on video of them just trying to break in. John and the constable, right? Constable Brian Drass. And then he calls Dillhole to come up, and they both have their hands on their gun, and they're all like acting like they're like looking like I'm gonna do something. I don't understand why they act like that. Maybe it was a guilty conscience because they're sitting there basically trying to take everything from me and kick me out of my home and steal all my shit. So, they know what they're doing is that level of wrong, right? They fucking woke me up in the morning, banging on my door. So this is all complete surprise to me because I went through this process before, and it was my prior knowledge of going through this process within the courts is that there was another step that they were skipping, right? That I would have another legal step with the magistrate, right, before they could do the actual eviction, right? They just did one. They filed a possession of property hearing, which I didn't even get to go to. I called and told them I was coming, and they said, nope, it's already done. We already had it. The judge already ruled. 2 minutes before it was even the scheduled time for my hearing, they told me this on the phone. And the secretary that told me this just happened to be the constable Brian Drass's wife. What do you know? You can't, these connections, can't make this shit up, right? So my my due process, right? Because I have a constitutional right to due process, and that was violated. But they didn't even afford me an opportunity uh, to 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 do the court process. You know what I mean? I didn't get to defend myself or even represent myself in the court proceedings. They can't just have court proceedings and just keep the other person from participating, and then have a ruling when they are the ones that infringed on my right to due process. Then they rule against me. That you can't do that. You know what I mean? And I knew that. So, and then they told me, instead of, I called before the hearing, and they said, well, the judge said that you can talk to the landlord. You should be able to talk to the landlord and work something out. Yeah, and you know what? I tried that. For the next 30 days, she just avoided me like the plague. When they showed up to evict me, okay, she works Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, he showed up on a Thursday morning, right? A Thursday morning, just so happens Deb was on vacation, right? The maintenance guy tried to tell me she's at the beach. She doesn't have service at the beach. Because I told him to call her whenever they tried to evict me. When they tried to kick me out, I said, no, can't you call? You can call the landlord. There has to be something you can do to avoid eviction here. It's in the middle of COVID. There's multiple memorandums put out by the federal the Consumer Protection, the Federal Consumer Protection Bureau, right? Federal Bureau of Consumer Protection. They put out memorandum after memorandum warning landlords of that they can be held liable and face federal prosecution if they don't follow, these strict memorandums, and because they basically created the memorandums that they needed to prove that tenants' rights were violated if landlords went against and kicked anybody out, because they had everything in place to accommodate the landlords, so they didn't have to evict anybody like that. And they did this. It was an unprecedented act that they did in an attempt, a collective attempt to fight homelessness and to diminish the number of people going to be homeless during a pandemic. And because nobody would have been out any money at all, there is no victim here. You know what I mean? So I'm the only victim. So when they try to claim that I did something illegal and tried to charge me, well, I learned my rights. I fought that. That was dismissed. Now I have to take action against them in a civil lawsuit and sue them, right? And then, in hope that I can get some kind of compensation back. But I want the people that did this to be held accountable, to understand what they did was wrong, and to learn. I want them to learn the Constitution. I want them to learn what someone's civil rights are, and so they understand and never violate somebody's civil rights again. I want to make sure that they know that. I want to make sure that they understand that. I don't need an apology. People make mistakes, but that's one of my major stipulations. I want people to understand. Just like if you do something wrong, right, and you get punished, you have to learn the lesson. You have to know what you did wrong and understand why it was wrong, so you don't do that in the future. That's how the social contract works in society and everything. That's how we operate, in a civilized society. Not like barbarians, right? Not like cavemen that just beat on their chest, smash doors down, right? And 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 just overpower people with force by abusing our power. You know what I mean? Because they have the trifecta. They have the force factor, right? Where they have qualified immunity and they have the authority to bust your door down, intimidate you, and traumatize you and scare you with guns and the legal force to do it. They don't have the knowledge. But then the second side of that trifecta, is they have the court systems, right? They have the legalese and all of the laws and different things that they can use against you, right? to back up the fucking barbarians, the cops, right, that are dumber than a box of rocks. And then if that isn't enough, right, they have the hand of the media, right, and they have the public perception, right, and they use that then to turn everybody else in society against you. So it's it's diabolical. It's absolutely diabolical and evil. And I would like to know what they're trying to solve. You know, if because that's what they claim. You know, they're just trying to solve societal problems, right? They're trying to make the public safe, and they're trying to be representing of what the best interest of the people are and the public, right? Right? They are acting on behalf of society, right? So I want to know what are you trying to solve by doing what you did and the way you went about it? How are you part of any solution, societal solution whatsoever? Seems to me that you are only um, following a somebody's personal agenda, and it absolutely contradicts the best interest of the people. Absolutely contradicts the best interest of the people. It only benefits individual agendas, individual people's agendas, right? Greed and nothing about it is right. It's all wrong. So you twist these these systems we have in place in our society in order to maintain law and order, right? In civilized communication, civilized confrontations, right? We have these all in place so that we are an evolved society, so we're not a bunch of barbarians. And you guys use them for the opposite reasons. You literally use them and act as tyrants and barbarians, and just to take what you want and get away with it. And you call it legal. You call it, you use the legal system to try to get away with it and call it right when it's wrong. It's in fact backwards. You fucks are retarded. You guys have lost sight of what the fucking purpose is. You have completely lost sight of what your purpose is, right? If you are the law, or if you are, you know, involved in a public servant, or you're in the courts, or you are operating as an officer of society or whatever, you know what I mean? If you're a cop, if you're a constable, right? If you're the property manager in an apartment complex that operates under housing and urban development to accommodate, low income and elderly people on SSI, disabled, elderly veterans and low income families by offering them subsidized housing, so you get funding from the government, and it makes your job easier. It's guaranteed money, right? So you got it good. So you're supposed to give back to society then. You're supposed to do things to make society a better place. You use those benefits that you've reaped. You've reaped all these benefits from considering yourself a part of the community, right? A part of one of the pillars of society, right? Like low-income housing. I'm sorry, but that is a huge thing. That plays a huge role in our society. And then the police, that power that you have there and authority, you're only doing it because you have that elevated power, that power that people entrust in you, right? To do what's right and to protect the people's constitutional rights. That's your main purpose of the police, not to make sure you go home safe at night. That's just individual departments kind of collective inside idea when you're on duty. You want to try to go home at the end of the night, of course you do, but the police, okay, the police, the institution of the police, right? The word police, it was established to protect people and to protect their rights, right? To protect right and wrong, okay? And then they established these rights that were self-evident in our Constitution, right? Unalienable rights. They were self-evident. And then that became the police's main task then. Their main task is to protect the people's constitutional rights. So if there's anything happening that, that infringes on somebody's constitutional rights or that goes against any of those rights, the cops are supposed to use their discretion and step in and do whatever necessary with the powers bestowed upon them to protect those constitutional rights, right? So it doesn't matter who it is or whatever, they're just supposed to protect certain ideas, right? To enforce the law while protecting our constitutional rights. Okay, that's what it is. So they all fucked up. They all did the wrong thing. Okay? And then a bunch more people did a bunch more wrong shit to try to cover it all up, right? And then a bunch more people did a bunch more wrong shit to try to discredit me and continue to act this way today, right? And I don't know why. To avoid accountability, it's like your little kids, If you're little children, it's like, listen, the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be for you. The more you fight it, the harder it's going to be. If you just take your punishment, admit you were wrong, try to right the wrongs, take accountability for your actions. You do the crime, you do the time. You have to try to make whole the victims that you have taken from, the victims that you have, there are victims here. That's what a crime is. You guys have committed crimes against an innocent citizen and his children, okay? By stealing his property, violating his rights, using, like terrorists. You're like fucking terrorists. The way you did it, it's crazy. It's fucking nuts. I mean, I could explain every single aspect of the tactics you use and everything you're doing, and explain it in such a way that that frames it, as domestic terrorism, right? And criminal acts that you guys are engaging in, right? And I can prove your intent by your pattern of behaviors, right? All I need is just to be able to demonstrate and prove with facts and evidence to a jury of my peers that what I'm saying is the truth. It doesn't really matter what you say. I'm saying this is what happened, this is the facts, and this is what they did. You can lie and say that wasn't your intentions and try to use plausible deniability and excuses all day long, but at the end of the day, you know what? Ignorance is not a defense. You cannot use "I didn't know" and plausible deniability as a defense when you commit crimes against a victim. Somebody is now harmed by your doing, by your irresponsible and negligent behavior and actions, right? By your acts or lack of, there is an innocent citizen that is now harmed. That is a victim. That is what we call a victim by definition, right? And then the crimes, right, that we have to attach to that victim then, well, okay, it would fall under, burglary, kidnapping, defamation of character, slander, terroristic threats, harassment, group harassment, stalking, a whole bunch of theft, burglary, vandalism. Let's see, what else? There's probably a bunch more too. And then you have child endangerment, or through the cops commit child endangerment by their mandatory reporters when they knowingly refuse to do what they're mandated to do. That is knowingly putting children in danger, okay, through negligence. It's not even negligence. It's like it's intentional, So it's like intentionally doing that. You know what I mean? It's crazy, all the crimes. It's from the top down, man. These people that knowingly did this. I mean, I'm not going to go as far as to say that without a doubt that the judges committed these crimes, but let's face it, they know what's going on. So their negligence, is enough. Their negligence is enough. They it's their job, to be the head of the courts, right? To have the say, to make sure that nobody's rights are violated in their court and all that shit, And I voiced some shit and my concerns and how I was being violated and not getting my equal protection under the law, right? And my right to due process, how I was refused that. And fuck, I got my legal advice whenever I didn't have representation, right? Then the prosecutor's allowed to come and talk to you then? That's intimidating a witness, I believe, right? Intimidating a person in a legal setting, right? In a court setting. Because when I walked into my preliminary hearing, didn't have representation, the person, Joe Politis is his name, right? I've tried to talk to him in the past and he always runs away from me and avoids me. He won't talk to me. But whenever I go to court without representation, then he's all talky, right? Then he wants to be my best buddy and have a nice talk, right? And he wants to give me legal advice. And he wants to say, well, you can represent yourself, right? Right? And then when the judge then doesn't inform me and advise me of my rights, right? And what rights I will be, giving up. Like when you sign a plea, they are supposed to advise you of all the rights that you are waiving, right? That you are waiving those rights away. And they are supposed to explain that to you and ask you very clearly if you understand the rights that you are giving up, that you are waiving. That never happened, okay? We didn't even sit down. I walked into Zungalai's courtroom, and my lawyer / the prosecutor against me when I'm a defendant in the case proceeded to give me legal advice, and then go ahead and do this plea deal, which I knew really I didn't understand what that meant at all, as far as the implications it had on my on me and my whole thing that I'm trying to do, right? Because it ensured that they couldn't be held liable for altering the records that they used to arrest me, right? They turned an ungraded misdemeanor into a felony with the swipe of a pen. They just wrote F, right? That then gave them the legal authority, right, to arrest me in public and try to kill me, right, by trying to escalate a situation and act like a crazy person, demanding my firearm after finding out exactly where it's at, where it's located, that I have it, and observing me having my seatbelt on, right? Then this cop who's trained, he's the trained professional here, right? And he's fresh he's the freshest cop in the area. He's he's the youngest, so he would have the training more up to date than any of these older cops. And here he is telling me, give me your gun, give it to me now. And so I just asked him questions. I did not refuse to comply. I just said, well, can I just have my ticket and be on my way? I don't understand why I need to go do all that and give you my gun and all that. I don't see how it's necessary, because it's supposed to be for officer safety. He just got done waving to me before he pulled me over. He stopped and waved to me with a big old smile on his face, okay? This cop. I gave him a police challenge coin and told him to watch his back. I thought they were going to use him as a scapegoat one day. And he handled my firearm, and I showed him my concealed carry permit in my parking lot one day. So he had all this prior knowledge. And he knows me as a person. He knows my character. He knows that I am not known for violence. I'm not known to escalate anything. I'm very rational, very easy to get along with, right? And I have children, okay? I'm a single dad. He knows all this stuff, okay? I just dropped my daughter off at work when he stopped and waved at me with a big old smile, right? Then he pulls me over, and all of a sudden, he starts getting getting really aggressive and just angry, right? With no explanation as to why. I had a registration was out on my car, so I just real simple. Can't I just have my ticket and be on my way? I don't see why this is all necessary. It's my son's birthday. I have to go pick him up to go out, take him out to eat right now. That's what I was doing. You know, that's what that's exactly what I was supposed to be doing that day. It was my son's birthday. It happened to be the day after I put a YouTube video out where I talked about how they intercepted my cell phone I ordered on Amazon. Somebody did. Intercepted it in through the mail and sent me their device. Somebody did. The device I had in my possession that got delivered to me was not the device that that my the seller sent me that I purchased through Amazon. That was not the device that I purchased, and I found this out later on because I did a return and then I put something in the mailbox that appeared to be the return device after I printed out the return label and everything, right? But they wouldn't issue the refund until it got scanned into the postal system, okay? So even when I put it in the mailbox there, the seller wouldn't know to issue me a refund until somebody for the postal service scans that return label, and then at that point, then it's all automated. Then they would issue me a refund. Well, when I put that thing in the mailbox, somebody thought, they said, "Oh shit, we have to take the device that we stole from him. We have to now hurry up and return that. We have to hurry up and send that back." Like at the same time, because I was very adamant about tracking my shipments and stuff, and I would pay attention to the little details. So they were probably had to be on par with that, right? As soon as they see me put that fucking thing in the box, it was probably somebody else scanning, scanning the fucking the real phone that I never got. That they never, they made sure I never got it because like a day later, I got a refund from the seller, and I'm like, what the fuck? I still had the phone and the device. I never sent it out. I sent an empty box to my mom across town, which she never got, by the way. That's all I did was took a box and put my mom's address on it and threw it in the mailbox outside my apartment building. But I made sure people saw me doing it. The right people saw me doing that. And how did they know that I was even doing, getting ready to do all that? Because they monitor everything I do on my internet traffic. They monitor everything I do in my apartment. They monitored everything I did on my phone. So they knew that I printed out the label. They knew that I sat there and prepared a box and got a box ready to go. They just didn't catch it that I swapped the boxes out, you know what I mean? Whenever I went out, because I prepared the other box without, not in the open in my apartment so that they could clearly see what I was doing. I could try to obfuscate what I was doing so they couldn't really tell what I was doing, you know what I mean? So, so I still had that device. I later on contacted Amazon, okay, after they issued the refund, because I had 90 days to send this device back. But I contacted the seller, and I said, hey, I got the refund, but did you guys get a phone back? I know that you sent the refund, meaning, according to that, you got the tracking info, but I want to make sure, did you guys receive a device back? Did you actually receive a physical device back? And I contacted the seller and asked them this, and they responded, absolutely, they got their device back. So that somebody sent them a device, right? I mean, explain it any other way, right? So anyway, I put a video out explaining all that, and I have the evidence to show it. The order form, I have the correspondence through the seller on Amazon, right? And the only missing piece of the pie was that physical evidence, the physical possession of the phone, the fraudulent phone that I still had, right? Because that would be the one that somebody else sent me that would be preloaded with their fucking spyware, right? That's the one that would be the smoking gun, right? Well, that just happened to be in my apartment. That when they took all my stuff, that was with my stuff that they took in my apartment when they busted in my door and all that. You know what I mean? So I think that's another reason that didn't care about violating my rights. They wanted to cover up these bigger crimes. You know, this bigger fucking can of worms that I was opening up. You know, it's a big ass it's like a 50-gallon drum of worms, dude. And I opened this thing up, and they just keep pushing everybody away. Don't look at these worms. There's nothing to see here, you know. But I open the can. Listen, all I need is for one person with the authority to look into some of this stuff. You know, I don't have the authority or the resources or even the knowledge on where to look and what to look for on a lot of this stuff. But what I do have highly suggests, almost without a doubt, right, that there are multiple people, plural, okay, multiple people who work, in public service, law enforcement, who are breaking the law. You know what I mean? Who are violating the people's trust and breaking the law, right? And there's just a couple of simple things that I have put out there and pointed out that really anybody else can do. If I do it, they're just, I already know the truth. But if I do it, they're just going to say, well, and explain it away with this excuse or that excuse or whatever. That's what they do. I need for somebody else to do this. I need for somebody else to look into this, to verify what I'm saying or debunk it. One of the two. Just please, they love trying to call me a liar. Try to debunk what I'm talking about. Please look into this. Somebody, right? I know people that are advocates, like Chris and Tiffany for public safety on YouTube. They have a deeper knowledge in the inner workings of government and public records and FOIAs, right? They know a lot better than I do on where to start looking and who can get away with what, right? But I now have evidence to believe that somebody in the pathonatory's office is altering court records, like completely changing and ignoring judges' orders. Pertaining to a protection from abuse case where senior services and victim services, they are the ones that filed it because they found evidence of senior abuse taking place. So they are the ones that reported this. So that's all very important shit. There's another victim there, right? That's getting covered up. And it's not getting, victims. Listen, they pay a whole bunch of money for victims advocates, right? Victim advocacy. They just got big pay raises and shit as far as victims advocate funds in the budget. So where's it all going? Because the only thing I get to witness at all is a bunch of people who are just like going out of their way to make sure that victims keep getting violated, like that they don't get any justice at all. It's crazy, right? To cover for somebody, it doesn't make any sense. Like, don't these people have morals? Don't they have a conscience? Didn't they swear an oath? These are all oath breakers. Because they're all knowingly doing this. So, like, all I need is one or two people to please look into this. Reach out to me. Say, hey, listen, I've heard your story. I just want you to know I'm going to be looking into this. Because if this is going on, if what you say is true and what you are alleging is actually happening and going on, then that's a serious issue that needs to be dealt with as soon as possible. They have to. You can't waste any time with this shit. You have to jump right in. I've been fucking screaming it from the rooftop for the last 4 years. Okay? At what point, I called, the FBI hangs up on me. Okay? The DA's office tells me to call the state police. The state police tell me to call the DA's office, and vice versa. Travis Schilling won't knock on my door. Chief Travis Schilling. He'll go to everybody else's apartment and have coffee with them at their kitchen table. but he will not knock on my door. I'll get attacked by 2 dogs with 10 witnesses that see it, clearly see this, and be injured and bleeding from my arms and report this. And he lives across the street. Travis Schilling lived across the street from me, okay? And he won't come, make a show up at my apartment. You know what I mean? He actually, that day when he was playing phone tag with me, he just called and left me a message. And he saw me. I was sitting in the parking lot in my car, right? And he pulled out of his alley, not the road in front of his house, because that's down a little bit, but the alley behind his house is directly across from my parking lot. Whenever you come to the stop sign, you are looking directly at my car in my parking lot. Okay, so he pulled out exactly when, you can't make this up, he pulled out right in between voicemails from him, right? And I tried calling him back and got his voicemail again, but I got one voicemail, I listened to it, and I call him back, right? And then all of a sudden I notice another voicemail on my phone. I didn't get a call, but I seen a voicemail, right, of him playing fucking phone tag. Fuckboy phone tag games is what he's playing. Same thing the DA and the state police played. But it wasn't the state police, it was Dispatcher Mulhern. Dispatcher Mulhern, right? He misrepresented himself. He committed fraud when he identified as a trooper. He identified himself as Trooper Mulhern whenever I called. He didn't say, and then the DA's office told me, he's not a trooper, it's Dispatcher Mulhern. I'll never forget his name, because he said Trooper Mulhern, and he told me that the state police can't just go investigating, chief of police just every time somebody gets mad because they've got charges pressed against them. And this is what Dispatcher Mulhern told me, right? After calling twice, because the DA's office told me to call and specifically tell them that Amanda told me to call. Amanda from the DA's office told me to tell you, hey, Amanda from the DA's office told me to call here. She told me to tell you that. She said, tell them that Amanda told you to call. He said, no, it doesn't matter. If you can't just go doing that, state police aren't going to investigate every time somebody's butt hurt. That was Dispatcher Mulhern, who identified himself to me as State Trooper Mulhern, okay? He answered the phone as State Police, Pennsylvania State Police Trooper Mulhern, do you need an officer, right? They're supposed to answer Dispatcher Mulhern, or, dispatch, State Police Dispatch, do you need an officer? No, they said State Police Trooper Mulhern. Because Amanda from the DA's office laughed whenever I said that on the phone. When I said Trooper Mulhern, told me to call you back. She laughed to her colleague who was sitting there. You could hear her talking to a colleague, like repeating what I was saying to her colleague as I said it. And whenever I said Trooper Mulhern, they both laughed. They said Trooper Mulhern. I said, yeah, that's what he said. And they got like offended. They said, he's not a trooper. It's Dispatcher Mulhern. He's not a trooper. It's not trooper anything. And they laughed. They laughed at him. Okay, so I was confident whenever she told me to call back and tell them that Amanda from the DA's office told me to call, right? So when I did, it was Trooper Mulhern or whatever hung up on me, So these things are happening in dispatch, okay? It's not the state police. They tried to gaslight me into thinking the state police were involved, and they weren't. They tried telling me that one of my gang stalkers was the chief of police at the state police barracks. The state police don't have a chief of police. I'm sorry. You got to be an idiot if you don't even realize that. You don't watch TV? They have a more of an officer-style chain of command at the state police, okay? They're an actual respectable organization, institution. The state police are. They wouldn't, stoop to the level of the shit that we're experiencing. This is low-level piece of shit. Local town cops and dispatchers, right? That's why, Chief of Police of Hastings, Jason Owens, he used to be a state trooper. He used to be a state Pennsylvania State Police Trooper Owens. I don't know what happened, but he is no longer Trooper Owens. He is now corrupt piece of shit Chief of Police Hastings Police Department Chief of Police douchebag Owens, right? Corrupt piece of shit Chief Owens, right? You might as well call him Chief Handler. He might even be that fucking Stone Cold Steve Owens, because he's one of them weirdo idiots that's really into wrestling. He even looks like fucking Stone Cold. He's a little shorter. He's got a bald head, and he's like thicker. He pumps his chest out and shit. Him and his brother, but they're I'm sure they're nice guys, but they lift weights and stuff, and they work. Their dad taught them to work for a living, right? Actually do physical labor and work. I won't, I'm not afraid to admit that, but they were in that group of people, that weren't real popular in high school, just like the firemen, and they're like the fucking nozzle heads, they're the kind of like the dorky people, you know what I mean? That's why they join the firemen and become cops, so they can take their frustration and their fucking pent-up rage out on everybody for getting picked on in high school, right? And I don't know about Travis Schilling, but you take one look at him, and he definitely looks like he fits the part. He looks like that same type of person, and his actions confirm that he absolutely goes out of his way to punish me. To him, I am like the representation of all the people in high school that he couldn't stand. I guess I don't know. I don't know why, because I'm not fat and dorky, and I'm not socially awkward. Why? Because I can be charming, and I can be kind of funny, and I'm a decent looking person who's not overweight, and I'm above proficient in everything that I put my set my mind to and set the task. That I can excel at everything. That I graduated with honors. I was in gifted class. I was a combat engineer in the Army National Guard. I got the Marksmanship Award in basic training. I was the best shot in the company. I think I scored like a 93 or a 96 on my ASVABs. Graduated with straight A's. Everybody used to pick on me when I was younger and tell me that I should be a lawyer because I was really, really good at arguing. Like instead of getting mad at me, they would just say, you should really be a lawyer, they said. So I was gonna be a lawyer. And just the way, life worked out, God had different plans for me. It didn't work out that way. I ended up meeting my wife, got her knocked up, and my daughter was born, and I got married when my daughter was a month and a half old, 6 weeks old. I got married in my Class A's. In my Class A military uniform. I got married at the Magistrates, okay? We had our reception at the Hong Kong buffet. We pushed some tables together and had our reception at the Hong Kong buffet. And we had our honeymoon across the street at the Jacuzzi Suite in the Days Inn Hotel, okay? Yep, talk about fucking fancy, man, let me tell you. So I don't care. That was great, man. I had friends, family, good food, a wife that I loved, a new child and everything, and everything was looking good. Life was looking up. And 2 days after I got married, I got kicked out of the military, right? So I mean, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Okay, I got kicked out of the military for failing a urinalysis for THC. Okay, that was it. There was nothing else in the test. I didn't fail for anything but THC. Just to get that straight. Okay, and I didn't get a dishonorable discharge either. No, I got a general discharge under honorable conditions. turned in all my gear, and I didn't have to repay any bonuses or anything like that. It was just like turn in your stuff, and it's as if you were never in, because it was like 23 months. It was like 1 month before the 2 year point in which my veteran status would have changed or something. It would have made things different, I guess. I don't know. They offered me I could go to rehab for 6 months if I wanted to, but they were like legally I have to offer you, to go to rehab for 6 months and this and that and blah 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 blah. But frankly, I don't want you to do it. You know, we were getting deployed in a month, you know, and they changed the date on us too. I didn't expect to get a piss test. There was 8 people, 8 of us that got booted out at the same time because they sprung it on us like that. So it was just the way things worked out. You know what I mean? Everything happens for a reason. Life's funny how it works out that way. You know, and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now had I not had my rights violated, right, at the apartments, and had all these things not happen to me. These people that are corrupt pieces of shit, right, acting in the shadows, maybe they would go on to kill somebody or do some more corrupt shit. Who knows? But that's not going to happen now because now I'm here, and now it's my task to make sure that everybody learns the truth and expose these violations, these crimes, the corrupt, the corruption that's going on, and that's what I'm doing. So that's everything happens for a reason. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if that's why everything before that happened, because this needs to happen to save somebody. I don't know, whatever. I just know that everything happens for a reason, okay? And I just go with the flow. That's it. I accept that everything happens for a reason when the bad shit happens to me. And then after that, it always happens. Something profound happens that's better, or whatever. Something that I can look back and say, okay, thank God that happened, so that this could happen. You know what I mean? Thank God that happened, because at the time it was like the end of the world. But looking back on it, thank God that happened, so that this didn't happen. You know what I mean? So I'm just sitting here looking at my Graham's chair, and I don't know who did this. I don't know who's. See, this is not the apartments. Okay, you see the paneling, that paneling, and these little things. They put this online, and they didn't have a username. They didn't have an address. They didn't have a contact number. It just said Hastings. That's what it said. It said Hastings. So I don't know who posted this on freebies, freebies.com or something. It was an app that you download, freebies, freestuff.com or something like that, freebies. Somebody posted it, and they posted it like the day after somebody told me that they seen a bunch of my stuff getting carried out of my apartment. I had been told months before that my stuff was all gone. They threw it all out. They got rid of all my stuff. I was told that. I had people that told me that, and I wasn't allowed there, so I couldn't go there. So I didn't push to get my belongings because I was told that my belongings were all gone. They were stolen or thrown out, okay? So you see how it was on purpose. And then months later, after somebody told me, hey, yeah, I just seen them taking all the rest of your stuff out of your apartment. That would have been this chair, my couch, my coffee table, all the stuff that was expensive, right? Months later, like a month or two later. So what was the rush to evict me, So, hell, the apartment beside me was vacant for a fucking year, dude. Over a year. They went out of their way to pretend that somebody was in there. And lie. And the maintenance guy got fired for fucking slipping up. And he slipped up and revealed to me that something was going on, because he tried to lie and say that there was somebody in there when he stored the vacuum cleaner in there that they used to clean the hallways, the maintenance guy. So, and they changed the ceiling fan. They don't change the ceiling fan unless they're in between tenants, okay? So they changed the ceiling fan, and he stored the vacuum cleaner in there, because people tried to put ceiling fans in, they wouldn't let them. But when somebody moved out, they would put one in. I don't know. Maybe they're putting cameras in them. I don't fucking know. They certainly had cameras in my fucking apartment. I showed drill holes And it's not like he looked at him and said, "Oh, that's just whatever. It could be anything." He looked at him and he was very highly concerned. And he must have brought it up to somebody, because when I went back later that day to get my animals, my bearded dragon and my bird, John, the maintenance guy, he was all shook up and pissed off, and he accused me of telling people that he put holes in my walls. He said, "You're telling people that I put holes in your wall, huh?" And I seen him earlier that day. He was like night and day. So something happened in between there, right? That made him believe that I was telling people he put holes in my walls. So I said, "No, John, what are you talking about?" I said, "I told Dill, you were there. I told Dill that somebody put holes in my walls. I showed him the holes. I never said your name at all. What are you talking about? Why? Did you put holes in my walls?" I said, never said your name at all. What makes you think that?" So, anyway, it's an hour. I could go on all day. So, whatever you do, look into this. Please do me a favor. Do the world a favor. Look into this, and whatever you do, be good, or be good at it.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place. I wanna be first, work till it hurts. Dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts. Never waste time, you got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off, what do you like? Make a dream job, no 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.